Hello and happy Tuesday from this happy Tuesday baby at Radically Rational and radicallyrational.com. How's this for masochism? I intentionally got up at 3 a.m. to re-watch last night's debacle between the Broncos and the Chargers just to see if it was as bad as I thought it was. It wasn't. It was worse. And what is happening now? NFL prime time is becoming NFL slime time or crime time. Think about this. We've had rotten games on Thursday nights. We've had rotten games on Sunday nights, although the Cowboys-Eagles the other night was actually a pretty good football game. And Monday nights have often been a disaster. That was awful. We have another 7 field goal game. We have two teams play deep into overtime and all night long combined for 2 touchdowns. Neither team made a first down in overtime. You know, they charge us some pretty high prices for this. And Russell Wilson passes for 15 yards in the second half. I know he got off to a hot start, but he cooled off in a hurry. Let me ask you this question. Do you think maybe Pete Carroll knew something that we didn't, or at least the Broncos didn't? You talk about a Rocky Mountain heist. Think about this. The Seahawks got 5 draft choices, 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s, 3 players, and then they watched the Broncos bankrupt themselves by signing Russell Wilson to a $245 million contract. I know he's got a torn chest muscle. I know he hurt his hamstring last night, but he has been nothing short of a disaster. The Broncos have not scored more than 16 points in 5 of their 6 games. And you know what? I'm going to say it. Geno Smith in Seattle, Geno Smith right now is a much better NFL quarterback than Russell Wilson. And how about these 2 head coaches? That was like watching a rerun of the old TV series Lost. Could they be any more clueless? And I mean both of them. I'm talking about Nathaniel Hackett and Brandon Staley. They just have no clue as to what they're doing, and that is, yes, my analytical evaluation here. So they made a number, they being the donkeys, the Broncos, a number of pig in a poke purchases over the offseason. By the way, the Broncos will host the Jets this Sunday. Let me ask you this. Which of those 2 teams do you think is going to play harder and with more confidence? Okay, before I get to something semi-serious and even depressing here, there was a thing on social media the other day, and I'm a sucker for stuff like this. It said, name your absolute favorite line from a song ever. Now, I thought initially I'm going to take this seriously. And if you ask me, it would probably be, and if it snows, that stretch down south won't ever stand the strain. I think that's one of the greatest sentences ever written in the English language. But my second choice would be, it was still September when your daddy was quite surprised to find you with the working girls in the county jail. And let me tell you what I find funny about that. It's the reference to it was still September. Like you couldn't even wait till Halloween? All right, now for the serious stuff. I would maintain that to a large degree, we're all a little more depressed than we think we are, especially people who don't think they're depressed. This has been a very difficult time, and there are depressing things around us, but there's nothing more depressing than television electoral campaign attack ads. If I was to pick one example that reflects our entire cultural rot, politically, societally, intellectually, it would be those ads. That is now who we have become because we've tolerated it and even encouraged it. And what's the theme of all of these ads? Do you ever see one that promotes the candidate? No, it just attacks the other guy. Please hate these MFers as much as I do. And they do that because it works. Because it's what you have settled for. It's what you're okay with. And once again, they are completely unconstrained by facts and truth. They're blatant lies, and it's coming from all directions, certainly. Well, the wind may be a little more from one prevailing direction than the others, but it's coming from everywhere. But truth not required. In fact, lying encouraged and even rewarded, especially rewarded. You see obvious dishonest edits. You see things crafted together. You see charges that a candidate said something that he or she never said, and you're okay with it. Because it has nothing to do with issues. It has nothing to do with unity. When was the last time you saw an ad that called for unity, that promoted unity, that didn't disdain unity? If you're for unity, you're weak. Please join me in hating these MFers as much as I do. And we have become that because we have tolerated that. I would maintain that if you were looking for something that reflects America in 2022 and all of our problems, spiritually and intellectually, and particularly the problem that we all have with the truth right now, with the possible exception of The Bachelor, you could not find a more damning example than campaign ads. It cannot be Wednesday, November 9th, fast enough. We are radically rational.